At Jupiter Hills, where I teach, one of our philosophies is it's hard to make the golfer worse if we make their setup better. So one of the keys when I'm teaching putting is trying to get someone into what we would call an ideal setup or address position. And I'm going to show you from face on what I like to see. Now, this isn't what every golfer does, but it's a great baseline for where to start. So when we're taking this view from face on, I see most of the best putters in the world with their feet, their ankles. So their ankles, their knees, and their hips are pretty much on a straight line. Because the putter's the shortest club in your bag, you don't have a very wide stance very often, so your feet are narrow together. When I look from the zipper or the button on your pants, the button on your shirt, your nose, or the logo on your hat, they're pretty much stacked on top of each other. Now, if you're conventionally gripped right hand low, that would put my right shoulder, my trail shoulder lower. That would give me a little bit of side bend to this right, so there's a little bit of a tilt. So I like to see the nose of the golfer, the buttons on the shirt, the zipper on the trousers, pretty much on a line. That's a great looking setup to me when I see that. So feet, knees, and hips are all about the same width. The ball position is slightly inside the heel, and what we find with the best players as well is most of the best putters in the world have slightly more weight on their left side or their lead side, so that the forward side, 55, 45, imagine yourself on two scales, one on your left foot, one under your right foot, and you're standing there, and you want to have a little bit more weight and pressure tilted towards that left side. We want to be hitting that ball with the putter on a level stroke. You know, if you get too far forward, you might hit down. If you get too far back, you might hit up. A lot of other things could be variables there. But from face on, that's a great way to set up. And you can always check in a mirror. You know, if you have a mirror in front of you, you get in that nice setup position and look and say, yep, I'm checking all those boxes. And from down the line, from what we call down the line, I see some other things that are really important. So we want to get towards square. You don't have to be perfect. So sometimes an alignment rod out to the side of your target line is a good way to do that. You can place it outside the ball. You can put it between your ball and the feet, so you can get as close to square as you want to have. So it'd be nice if your knees, your thighs, your hips, and your shoulders are square. But what I really like to see the most are the forearms square to the target. So from down the line here, can you get your forearms square? Now, I've always set up to the ball with a little bit more tilt than normal. I have a strong left-hand grip, so my sternum is open, and I have a lot more tilt in my shoulders than most people do. So my shoulders look square, but my forearms definitely are. So if I'm down on the target line and I look down, I like to see the forearms pretty level, pretty square to that line. You'll see my knees sometimes are a little bit open to that line. And to me, that gives the chance for the putter to be the most repetitive. Now, a couple easy training aids that we use a lot are these alignment rods. You see a lot of players use them on full shots as well. And there's all kinds of mirrors. So what's the ideal distance from the ball? We see on tour somewhere between 9 to 11 inches from your toe line. If you do put the mirror down and get it square to your line, I see more players with their eye line just on the inside edge of the golf ball or on top, but not on the other side. So as I get this thing ready to go, I look down and I see my eyes pretty parallel to the target line. I see them on the inside edge of the golf ball, and I see them right behind the golf ball. So my eyes are behind where the golf ball is. I can see that nicely there. I can see the lines here that I'm pretty square. One of the best training aids you can have to make sure your alignment's better. So the keys, again, face on, hip width with your stance, so you have ankles, knees, and hips on the same line. Slightly more weight on your forward foot. If the right hand's below the left, so if you're tilted a little bit like that, that's okay. But I like to see zipper buttons, nose, or logo, all kind of stacked over each other. I don't want to see all kinds of twisted moves there. That'll be, something that you can repeat and look at when you have a full-length mirror. And really from behind the line, I like to see as square as you can be, but I like to see the forearms square, and that'll lead you to have the most consistency when you hit your putt. When I see forearms the most square from down the line, those players have the best setup.